Anna, welcome to People in Legal.
Thanks, David. Nice to meet you.
What a wonderful day there is today. Look at the views from the room. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's really fabulous to be at the Women in AI Summit. Fabulous way to bring women into, a conversation and amplify their role.
It's an amazing crowd. There's no empty seats.
Yeah, I know. I was just talking to Karen Sandler and she was like, "This is pretty cool."
It is
for a legal tech event. Yeah,
it is awesome. So, Anna, can you introduce yourself to our audience who may not know you?
Mm-hmm. So I head up legal operations at IAG, Australia's largest general insurer. I've been in the role for 6 years. Part of my role, I look after technology implementation across the legal team, but I also look at sort of strategic operations, strategy, business planning, budget, finance and risk for the division as well. And I also am one of the co-chairs of the Corporate Legal Operations Consortium, which is CLOC, and, have a real interest in driving efficiency and transforming the operations of legal services, both within our in-house team and also in terms of how we're partnering with our external legal providers as well.
In our pre-chat, we covered a couple of different topics and things. And one of the topics that I thought was really interesting was diversity and why it's important.
Yes. So, as I said, it's fabulous that we've got a Women in AI Summit and really bringing to the forefront the importance of gender as part of that diversity conversation. And I said in our panel that, I've always had an element of bias towards female tech, female founders, female tech providers. But I think diversity, particularly in the context of sort of tech procurement, and if you're looking at transformation of legal service delivery, it's many aspects of diversity, not just gender. So I talked on stage around, getting diverse input into your vendor selection. So not just your lawyers in the case of a legal team implementation, but some of your stakeholders as well, in terms of having them contribute to your selection. I think across vendors, city of location, diversity of background. But as I said, I've also worked with many vendors, that are predominantly male teams, and it's not like it changes outcomes, but I think it changes experience and it broadens your understanding.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's more holistic, I guess.
Yes, that's exactly right.
And we're talking about the whole system selection side of things as well in POCs. I'm so fascinated in your thoughts on that.
So I spoke on the panel about, identifying the problem that you want to solve, but then starting small and not trying to solve the world in one go. And two of the projects that I've sort of recently been focused on in the AI space, the first one was a contract redlining implementation, and we did a proof of concept where we down-selected 5 vendors and we ran a parallel proof of concept with each of the 5 vendors. So we gave them components of our playbook and one of our templates, and we asked each vendor to redline. So it was a competing POC, and it's very informative to see, to benchmark one use case across 5 vendors. But proof of concepts allow you to chunk your projects, start small, learn, before you sort of go into a broader environment where potentially your data is more sensitive. You've got to go through additional hurdles from a governance perspective within your organisation. And also it gives you that opportunity to demonstrate your ROI early, to build that credibility, to get the funding that you need to progress through your project. So on the other project that I've done, it's not multiple vendors that I'm doing different proof of concepts with, but it's multiple stakeholders within my business. And we're doing each portfolio sequentially in proof of concepts. And so the data within each portfolio is different, but the methodology and the rules that we're applying in terms of our understanding of the data, and we're building out qualitative billing guidelines, that's all similar, but within each portfolio, the data is different and the nuances of the portfolios are different. From each proof of concept, we go from proof of concept to pilot. The pilot allows you to show your ROI, build your business case, and then you move into a live production. So
what's the hardest thing about building a business case?
The hardest thing about building a business case in the AI space?
Yeah.
I think ROI is hard. When you're looking at operational efficiency of the way that lawyers are working. I think at the moment, the tools available are giving incremental efficiencies to parts of roles. But we're not seeing that sort of 10x return on investment or return on efficiency or efficiency dividend that, the hype promises. So I think that sort of brings me back to the starting small and doing your proof of concepts. But I think that's the challenge, particularly now in the short term. And, hopefully we'll start to see that challenge being overcome. But funding is finite, and, you're effectively fighting for lawyers. Like, are we implementing a legal tack to augment our team, or are we going to bring on a new lawyer? That's your efficiency dividend that you're really you're looking at. So, and for in-house teams, I think it's even harder than for law firms to really demonstrate that ROI in terms of that productivity gain for lawyers.
And in the AI sort of space, like what would be a common POC people might use to I guess, get that business case to measure things?
So the one that I talked about, which is contract redlining. So simple tools, they're point solution. There are lots of competing vendors. Some of them are point plays, other of them are part of a platform with multiple capabilities. I think it's important to understand that. And at the same time, it's good to compare it, say, to a Copilot. What can Copilot do? What are the results of Copilot? And that's something we've done a lot, is compare the results of a bespoke sort of model that has been trained on legal content versus a Copilot, because the enterprise is rolling out Copilot as an efficiency tool, but you need to understand the differences.
I guess selling that business case, there's a sale of that business case as well. We've got this we've got this application we're rolling out, across the organisation. Why do you need something different over here?
Yeah, and the price point for a Copilot license is very different to the price point for a Harvey license or a co-counsel license. So you absolutely need to demonstrate that differential value, so it comes back to the ROI.
And what's people's attitude towards change? I mean, when you're putting AI tools in and AI applications in, what's the attitude towards change in that?
So I think it's like any tech implementation that's happened, before AI. There are the early adopters, the absolute people on board with change. They want to try anything. They're using AI in their everyday life exponentially. You've got the people that are much more resistant to change, who will wait and sit on the fence and see what others say, come along, as a laggard, if they have to kind of attitude. I don't think you should expect that it's going to be any different with AI, and it's certainly not. I think the other nuance with AI is that fear factor. Is my job going to be replaced?
That's right.
How much do I actually need to be on board? And also, how much do I need to understand? So potentially the people piece could be easier because of those, fear factor playing, but I suspect it'll broadly follow the same trajectory as other tech implementations, particularly in legal departments.
I mean, from a vendor standpoint, like what advice would you give to vendors? How could they be better?
I think that, whilst I started it by saying work out what problem I'm trying to solve, I think vendors should also spend time working out what their individual clients are trying to solve, rather than thinking that their product solves a single use case or a single solution without variances or nuances. Number one, I think vendors shouldn't be shy to tell us that they're learning, as fast as we are, because I think AI is as new to their product development lifecycle as it is for our adoption. And so I think vendors that are prepared to share risk and reward on this journey of implementation, and the ones that are forthcoming in doing that, I think I'd love to see more of that. And I also think vendors shouldn't claim that their product does everything for all people and for all problems and for all use cases. And I think that they should recognize their limitations and ensure that their clients understand those limitations as part of that product selection process.
Is there a risk in that sort of POC scenario that the vendors show their very, very best selves, but when it comes down the line, I guess that may be a different story.
Well, that's why I designed our POC to run it on our document and our playbook, because as you know, if a vendor shows their Redline solution and they run their NDA through it with their rulebook, you'll get a beautifully marked up NDA.
Yes.
But if I put my NDA in with my rulebook, it's a different result. And so it's important as part of your process to ensure that you're understanding the output on your data and your content, and not just, you know, the out of the box example that your vendor's trying to show you.
And digging down on vendors a little bit here, but larger vendors versus smaller vendors and things like that. The smaller vendors, are they in the mix of things there?
We do have a mix of large and small vendors, and we've got a mix of sort of startup, Aussie, female founder,
awesome,
Australian tech versus large global alternative legal service provider. Look, there's pros and cons with both, and I think that's why you end up having your mix. So yeah, I mean, I can go into that if you like, but I think the relationship that you build with a small vendor is next level.
Yeah, it is.
They know you a lot more. They invest a lot more time in understanding your business and your requirements and responding to that. Global providers bring scale, broader market knowledge. In the case of international, we've partnered with a US provider with our qualitative bill review. And so they bring a lot of not just IP, but market knowledge on what's happening in the US in this space. That's important. So I guess comes right back to what problem you're trying to solve and what components from your vendor you're going to need to help you solve that.
Yeah.
So matter management, local startup provider who knew our requirements well, absolutely satisfactory. Brilliant. You know, qualitative bill review, leveraging AI, needs a global provider partnering with a specialist AI subcontractor.
If there's one thing that people should take away from the conference today, what would it be? What should it be?
You've got to get in and use it and try it and identify your use case or your problem and run a proof of concept and just start. Change doesn't come from sitting there waiting. You're not going to get it right first go, and you're going to learn along the way, and you have to iterate. But you absolutely have to start on this journey. I think the whole ecosystem needs to be leveraging AI and technology to transform and to continue to change service delivery. And, you know, everyone has to effectively be on board.
Brilliant. Anna, thank you so much for your insights today. Been really super interesting. Thank you. Have a great conference.
Thanks, David.
Brilliant.